All right, I'm starting. So whoever's here, good. If you're not here, then so be it. All right. Welcome to my presentation for Sweden in review for the month of January. So what is Sweden in review? It is a monthly recap presented by me of the Swedish ultimate scene in Sweden, highlighting fun numbers and statistics on both characters and the players. The goals are to be more aware of what is going on in the country in a fun and interactive way, to catalog just how active Sweden is with the game, because there have been notions that Sweden ultimate participation is waning, collecting data for regional PR purposes so that TOs can collaborate and see on the sheet stuff that they can use in order to make their own respective PRs, and also collect data for Swedish PR purposes. We'll get to that maybe later, but for right now, these are the goals. Now, I would like to preface that the format of these presentations is going to be as follows. I'm going to be giving you a 15-20 minute recap video at the end of each month, and then at the end of each month, I will give you in the description and in the Swedish Smash Discord server, if you're on it, the updated up to the month I'm presenting Google Sheet of the records of the tournaments in Sweden. So that's just how it's going to be. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you roughly how it works, and then I probably won't do that again, and you'll know how it works. Either way, let's keep going. These are the regions collaborating, which to my knowledge are all of the regions which are active in the Smash Ultimate scene. We have Örebro, which is TO'd by Shmubi, Sloborob, Kobbe and Shelafors, Skåne with the Psych and Pfeiffer, Gotland with Ligerfett, Trollhättan with Logisticos and Stig, Halmstad with GCK Phoenix, Stenmark, Amon and Metalheady, Linköping with Cloudberry, Kräftdjursmannen, also known as Swordsplay, Butterfly, Jetson and Ramsey. We have Stockholm with J-Rose, Schmickstay, Bigitao, Hippo, Grimdeath, Sonny, X-Magas. We have Skara with Jelchi, Trasigaskor. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these correctly. We have Jönköping with Dato King and Serendipity. We have Luleå with Gogong, Peanuts and Gibbles. We have Göteborg with Greppe and Time Balloon, Piteå with Crowfax, Gogong and Vulcan, Västerås with Ains, Leaf, and we also have Skellefteå with Robwin, Crowfax, Gogong, and Cillian in parentheses because he's the person who's helping me collect data for that region. So these are the regions collaborating with me. They're all of the active scenes. There is one more scene I was not able to get in contact with, which is Uppsala, but to my knowledge, they're fairly inactive and very irregular. Fun map made by the Psych. He's working on an interactive map of the scenes, but for now you get a picture of them. This is where they are located. Pretty fun, no? I feel like this is a fun visual representation of our scenes. Let's keep going. All right, so let's start. How many tournaments do you think we had in the month of January? Any numbers? Any people dare to throw out a number out there? 20,524 is incorrect. 15? Incorrect. I will end the questionnaire in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think Wagyun got it the closest, because for the month of January, ignoring the Future Dragon event in Stockholm, but including Smashburg, we've had 20 tournaments at which Swedes attended. 20 in the month of January. There have been 3 in Linköping and Skara, 2 in Göteborg, Halmstad and Gotland, and 1 in Örebro, Malmö, Trollhättan, Stockholm, Luleå, Västerås, Skellefteå, and, of course, Smashburg. So let's go through the rundown of results region by region. Now, this is going to be a sweeping overview of the results for each tournament that has been made or run, but don't expect anything exactly, very zoomed in. Smash Bros was in Sweden, it wasn't, but there were a lot of Swedes that went, and therefore I feel it's pretty, I think it's pretty reasonable to add it to the list. Linköping had a 14 average attendee rating, where in the first tournament, Brainfog, Cloudberry, and Kimoy got first, second, and third respectively, and Dynamite got fourth for a seeding factor upset of 3. The second tournament was Pipwolf, Brainfog, Cloudberry in that order. However, notable entrants were Floppy, who got 5th with a seeding factor of 3, and Shiroberry, who was from the USA, who came for vacation, who got an upseed factor of 3, getting 4th. Jetson, Kraftschulmannen got a seeding factor of 3, and Cloudberry. Kraftschulmannen upsetting Cloudberry for 2nd. Skara had an average participation of 7.3 attendees, where the first tournament was the rankings were Def, Blackcoat, and Dirty Deeds. Blackcoat with a seeding factor upset of 3, winning against Dirty Deeds, to my knowledge, one of the first times. Blackcoat, again, seeding factor of 1 over Dirty Deeds again, cementing his position as number 1 in the region for now, and Tasika score number 3. And then again, the third tournament, Blackcoat got first, RetroKid got second, to my knowledge his great return, and Tasika score. Blackcoat cementing once again his position as first place in the region. This said, Dirty Deeds did not attend this tournament. Let's move on to the people who had 2 tournaments. We start with Göteborg with an average participants of 6.7. The first tournament, that was Time Balloon first, Marwin second, Agman third. Agman upsetting Crown with an overall seeding factor upset of 3. The second tournament, I Refuse won the whole thing over Time Balloon with a seeding factor upset of 1, Marwin getting third. We have Halmstad with a 7.5 average participants, of which the first tournament, the order went Mellud Urgalurga with a seeding factor upset of 3, winning over Oliver. And then we had Urgalurga winning once again over Oliver with a seeding factor upset of 1, and then we have Oliver and then Mellud. And then we have Gotland with an average participants of 12. The first tournament being won by Kaffemug. Oleastic with a seeding factor upset of 1 over Jolt, and then Jolt. And then the second tournament, we have J-Bob, who got first, Kaffemug, and Jolt, who got his run back from the time before with a seeding factor of upset factor of 1 over Oleastic with the run back. There was Orebro with 20 participants, where Bali won over BG Tao getting second, and Phoenix getting third. In Malmo, we had one tournament with 19 entrants, where Big Chungus got first, Bambi got second with a seeding factor upset of 1 over Pfeiffer, and Showtime got third with a seeding factor upset of 3 over Pfeiffer as well. Trollhättan, 23 attendees, second largest after Stockholm. The rankings went Telt, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Stig, and Def with an upset factor of 2. Stockholm was the largest with 38 attendees, and the placements were VG Tao for first, Rage for second, and Mint for third. However, to note that Astra got fourth with seeding factor of 4, winning over Gyros. Don Wico also got 7th with a seeding factor of 4, winning over Victorious twice. Luleå had 18 attendees, which honestly, relatively speaking, is pretty large with a lot of invaders. Zome got first with a seeding factor upset of 2, Vulcan got second with a seeding factor upset of 2, and then we had Lazi with third. Västerås had 9 entrants, of which Vogtruffel won with a seeding upset factor of 5. Toby-Wan Kenobi got second with another seeding factor upset of 5, and Asta got third with a seeding factor upset of 2. Julie is not recorded in the stats, so I'm assuming he hasn't played just yet. Next, we have WLFTO, where Cillian, 8-Man, and Nintendorm ended in this order. However, round robin was a 3-way tie, leading to a tiebreaker situation for first, second, and third, who was then played. Apologies. CD factor with 3-way tie, tiebreaker for first, second, and third. In this order. Huge apologies on that. Smashwork instead had 26 Swedes, and we all know that the top placing Swedes were Big Chunkus with a seeding factor of 2 over Taudi, winning as well over Lancelot, Pfeiffer with a seeding factor of 3, and I Refuse with a seeding factor of 3 over Anvil. So general tournament trivia. The first tournament of the month was Trollhättan, Friday the 6th of January. The busiest weekend was week 4, with 8 tournaments. And the singular highest number of non-DQ'd attendees was 38, held in Stockholm, which is kinda obvious. So therefore, I think it's nice to also highlight the second biggest tournament, which was held in Trollhättan, with 23rd. Of scenes that had more than one tourney, Linköping had the highest average of attendees at 14. This is also the average attendee per tournament anywhere in Sweden, which is 13.57. The highest cumulative attendees was Linköping with 42. This is cumulative attendees, so throughout the 3 tournaments that they attended, 42 was the number. Alright, so who do you think is the person with the most tournaments so far? Toby, Def, KP, VGTao, Nelud. The most tournaments participated were from Toby and Def, who are tied for 4 tournaments for this month. Def also played 3 in his first week. So therefore, 1 tournament a week, except Def, who decided to play 3 in the first week. Most out-of-region events. Well, you already have a clear idea of who it's gonna be. It's either gonna be one of these 2, right? So I'm just gonna spoil it. It's Toby 1. With participation in Örebro, Västerås, and Smashwork as well. So, how alive is this country, do we think? How many unique players attended at least 1 event, do you think, so far? How many unique players do we think have attended at least 1 event? In Sweden, of course. Future Dragon was not included because it's not relevant for the PR for this year. So I thought it would be more relevant to start off, more relevant to talk about the events that are accounting for their own PR. 75, 80. So 60, 70, 100. I'm giving you 10 more seconds. I will give you a hint. The number surprised me. Alright, I will show you the result. 194 unique attendees, with 284 attendees cumulatively between all events. 194 unique attendees. Not bad. Not bad at all. Honestly, the answer really surprised me. For 1 month, almost 200 players. That's kind of crazy, no? Alright, so Before we get on, I would like to preface that most played characters is a section that I'm going to include every month. Mostly because it is hard to gauge everyone and give everyone a character. Now, this list is not going to be 100% accurate. I think about 90% of the entries were going to be filled. If 90% of the entries are filled, however, these are not 100% true. Just keep this in mind. This will become more and more statistically precise the more events are going to be held. So, let's keep going. It's not 1/3. It actually changed yesterday evening. It's about 10%. 10% of the entries. So who do you think is the most played character? Who do you think is the most mained character? Steve? Good guess, honestly. Maybe Wolf? Falcon? Pithra? Okay, I'm just gonna show you. It's a two-way tie, actually. So let me give you this guess. Let me give you this answer. It's a two-way tie. It is a two-way tie. You are not going to expect the answers. Falcon, surely. Alright, I'm just gonna show it. Mario and Aegis have 6 representatives. Bowser and Joker are at 5. These are the 2 most mained characters. Mario with 6 representatives, yeah. I was also pretty surprised, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. Heyo. And now I'm gonna ask you, who's the most secondary character? Who's the most secondary character? Wolf, Cloud, King Dedede. Let me just preface that this secondary character is by far the most secondary character. There's like a huge gap between this character and everyone else. Huge gap. Byleth, Luigi, Aegis. Well, everyone sucks at guessing? Not everyone sucks at guessing because one of you got it correct. It's actually Aegis with 7. In total representing 13 people who either main or secondary Aegis in this country. 13, by the way. 13. Jesus Christ, man. Alright, least played characters. Much more interesting statistic, no? Combination of the top 4 characters people play. The characters that only have a 1 on them. This is tournament only. If you didn't go, you're not included. So only one person who plays them. Alright, I'm just gonna show you the results because I'm looking at some interesting stats. So, Ganondorf, Meta Knight, Ike, Lucario, Villager, Corrin, Bayonetta, Simon and Richter, and Bowser Jr. only have 1 representative. The characters you see there in bold, are also mained. So there's only 1 Ganondorf player in this country and he mains it. There's only 1 Lucario player in this country and he mains it, or they main it. Bayonetta has 1 representative in this country, which is Rage. And Simon Richter also has 1 more representative in this country. These are Nato Nixon from Stockholm, Floppy from Linköping, Rage from Stockholm, and PH2 from Halmstad. So far so good. Any questions? I would like to repeat to you that the methodology used to get these requires someone to enter at least 1 tournament. So this is why I say that this list is a bit inaccurate, and will get more accurate the more time goes on. So, characters that aren't played at all. Ice Climbers, Dr. Mario, Pichu, Chrome, Roy's played, but I think they're different enough. Mega Man, Mii Sword Fighter, and Pac-Man and Duck Hunt. These are not played at all. These are not played at all. Alright, so this is the end of the presentation portion of this presentation. I am now going to show you the sheet that I've been making in collaboration with the other TOs. I will drop it both here and in the Swedish Discord each month as a recap. And this is mostly done to avoid tampering without making the sheet restricted. I have 3 backups, but I would like to share you the copy one and not the actual sheet we're working on. So. That's the sheet. If you want to come and join me as I explain it. It is view only, so if you want to edit it, you're going to have to download it for yourself. So let me start. At the very beginning, you have one sheet that is comprised of all the scenes, all the TOs, and on the right you have a rough calendar, as well as some stats on the number of players for each tournament. As you can see here. Very interesting. The second sheet is the character popularity sheet. And what this sheet does is that it pulls from the 4th sheet, which I'll show you in a second, to gather the character data. I took some liberties in, for example, defining characters that are only played once. For example, all of them are here, I'm pretty sure it says there's only one of them. However, I know Dato King also played in Smashburg. But since he hasn't attended a single local in Jönköping, he does not have it yet written down. The 3rd slot is a month's snapshot, so you can see how many people have attended each month. And where, if you look at the next sheet. The next sheet shows you where you have played. And don't worry about the played most tab, that's gonna be fixed soon. But what is interesting here is that this is to go into a bit more specific on what is going on here. This formula makes it so that every time a new attendee is entered, they will be entered on the sheet in order of the closest sheet, basically. So if someone new entered in Örebro, they will be at the top over here. The home region was a bit of a nightmare to code. You can see here, but effectively what this is doing is that it's collecting the second row of each person's name, which is home region. And if it sees an error or doesn't see the name, then it just skips over to the next sheet. These are the main, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. And these are the different references for each region. So you have Örebro results with seeding, upsets, bracket, VOD, graphic, entrance, seeding, upset, etc. We have the placements for everyone, which is automated, kind of. This is almost all automated. And then we have head-to-heads for everyone, who are filled in manually, unfortunately, through this sheet. This sheet then goes over here and makes a sum of all of the boxes, and this one transforms it into a 1101 format. And this is done manually for each person, for each tournament. So I can go on Gotland, for example. They've had 2 tournaments, so they're gonna have more sheets down here, which are summed over here. And then they're going to be added in this format. And so on and so forth. Are there any questions about how this sheet operates? And then at the end, of course, there is a section for majors that I fill in myself. This, of course, is data directly copy-pasted from my Smashboard presentation. And yeah. Are there any questions about this? Can you censor my name from the Smash Bros. Results? I'm afraid I can't do that. Mostly because you were beaten by Chongus, so I can't do that. If you hadn't gotten beaten by Chongus, then I could have done it maybe. Sorry. What character won the most tournaments? See, the thing is, it doesn't really matter. And the reason I say it doesn't really matter is because this would be relevant if our country was really, really big. But if you only filter by character, then you're only going to get the people. You're not really filtering by character. So it's kind of a pointless statistic. But it would be Steve with a win on Smashwork and a win at Skåne. Are you asking me if I'm sane? I'm pretty sane. But like average highest placing, I think it's Steve. Like just judging by remembering what's going on with Cillian getting first, Big Chungus getting first, and Big Chungus getting first again, I think it would be Steve. Steve would be the highest placing.